Hi, it's Teresa from Dodge Nature Center, and time for another Nature to Go. So we're getting into that season of the year when there's lots of flowers blooming all around us. But the whole pollination thing is a very different story when you're talking about this plant right here. Yeah, we're talking about milkweed and the flowers that they have and the amazing technique that they use to get themselves pollinated. When we think of pollination, we tend to think of the parts that are covered with pollen being exposed. And then when the insects crawl around, they come into contact with those areas, get the pollen on their body, and then when they go to the next flower, they transfer the pollen to that spot. Here's a milkweed plant, and notice all the flowers. But as you look at those flowers, there aren't any places where pollen is evident. Here's a picture showing an individual flower. The top part where those white hoods and horns are, that's where the nectar is. So the insect is attracted to the flower in order to get to the nectar. But as it's climbing around there, that top part is waxy and slippery, and the insect is likely to slide around a lot as it's moving on the top of the flower. And when it does that, its foot can slip into the stigmatic slit. And what's inside that slit? Well, that's where the pollen is, but it's not a powder. It's actually sort of a little waxy packet, and it's shaped sort of like a maple seed, a pair of maple seeds, and there's a little string at the top. So the insect's foot goes into the slit, it gets caught on that little connected part, and it pulls out the packet that has the pollen. To make sure that an insect doesn't pollinate the same plant, what happens to these pollinalia once they're removed is they actually physically change orientation. They rotate 90 degrees. The insect goes to another flower. Again, its foot will slip, go into one of the slits, but the pollinalia gets left behind when it pulls its foot out. It takes a lot of energy for the plant to complete the whole process and produce seeds. So even though there's lots of flowers on the heads of milkweed plants, only 1 or 2 flowers will become pollinated and produce the pods that we're used to seeing. Milkweed. It's a plant that we are seeing a lot because people are raising it in order to help out monarchs. But yet when you look at what's going on with the flowers, it's much more complex and convoluted than you may have realized. So head out, try to find some milkweed flowers. They smell wonderful. And then watch, and you'll see the insects as they go about this amazing pollination process. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Nature to Go, and we'll talk to you again next time.